Oh, 1, 2, 3 in the place to be. From the bottom of the map, you down the bottom of the map show. It's your dog Israel. Got the big
I
player partner, Ike Hayes in the place to be.
all right. We doing recaps, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Week three. It was
you
a
want
big. It was a big day. It was a big
You,
day.
you know, it wasn't supposed to be it was going to be a big day regardless, but just from strictly a betting, yeah, I felt like I can't, a lot of I watch a lot of people's shows, and some of them do recaps, but not a lot of the betters. They're just on to the next week. But I like to show integrity and say, nah, here's where I was right, here's where I was wrong. I'm gonna let you start though, because you started off last time. I'm gonna let you start with you.
Mm. So I had a terrible, terrible week, and just for y'all to know, sometimes we actually do bets, but sometimes we just picks just to see like what we filling out for teams for the season. So we check the lines, we check the over unders, and sometimes we place bets. But so everything isn't a for show like we won or lost money. But so I had a few games where I was like, these are going to be for show money, and if I would have bet, it would have been all that. I'm talking
I
about,
done lost
you
all
know,
the monies.
listen. The church's money is gone.
I was gonna say
All the
church
church
money
money
is
is gone.
low. Ain't no building fund. We gonna wait till next week.
So I had Florida State. They had Florida State 24 points over Boston College. They eke one out against Boston College, so that was a major L.
That's not a bad bet though. A lot of people got popped messing with Florida State. Florida State looked good up until then, and I mean, it's week 3. Why not? So I
Yeah.
understand that.
So I also had Alabama against South Florida. I figured
Yo,
this was
yeah.
Nick Saban coming off of a loss.
We're gonna talk
So
about that a little bit
yeah,
deeper later because I'm like, Alabama doesn't cover. You can't be mad at that bet. Alabama don't cover against USF.
yeah, that was and
What
coming off
was the
of a
score?
loss.
Was the score like
The score
10-3 or
the
something?
score was 17-3. They actually scored seven points like in the last few minutes to like put the game all the way away, but it was 10-3 deep into the
Yeah.
fourth quarter. So Alabama didn't cover. Also, my sleeper team of the year had been Kansas State. They ended up losing on a 61-yard field goal with no time left to Missouri. So that was another L. And
What was
then,
the spread? Weren't they supposed to beat Missouri by what?
um,
8 or something like
yeah, I
that?
think it was like seven.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
I had Kansas State in that one.
And they've
Kansas
been
State had been
covering spread every week until then. So I mean,
until
I
then.
get it.
And then, I had to go with Prime. Prime, they had them minus 24, I think. Colorado State had just came off getting blown out by Washington State 50-24. They hadn't been looking like nothing, but I should have known it was an in-state game, rivalry game. They're gonna get up against to play against them. They're gonna pull out, and this is, I think, what's gonna happen to Colorado the rest of the season. Every team wants to give Prime his first loss, and they want to make him look bad. So, Colorado didn't cover. So those were my picks that I had. I did have South Carolina and Georgia. I had that pick was correct. I didn't have South Carolina winning, but I did have South Carolina covering the spread on their end, which they did. I did think it was going to be a close game because they're not necessarily rivals, but they do play each other tough. And South Carolina gets up for some games, and that was another game. And then I had Notre Dame covering the spread against Central Michigan. So those are my picks.
Okay.
Yeah, I lost all the church's money. If Mama needed a new purse, some new shoes, we would have been looking bad right now.
I'm gonna go ahead and start off, where you ended. My marquee game, I was real big on Georgia just not covering that spread. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think the game was gonna be as close. I just instantly looked at that number, and so I'm like, look, this is my marquee game. This is what I'm putting the mortgage money on. I'm putting baby tuition money. I'm putting it all on South Carolina because I just felt really, really good about it. And had I lost, I lost. Georgia showed up. Georgia, I'm not gonna say a whole bunch about it. I just know that Georgia is mortal. I've been saying that ever since they didn't cover the spread. Georgia is mortal. They definitely found a way to win. But that was almost South Carolina just don't got no offensive line. Okay, if you give the boy time to throw, and I was saying that, he had a game against North Carolina. So I'm glad they covered that spread. My next marquee game, one I felt really, really, really good about was Florida.
I
I
gotta give you
feel
that
like
one. I gotta give it to you. I gotta get to you. You called that one. You called
now,
that one from the start.
you
Hey,
know,
we got it on tape. We can go back to the
yeah,
replay. You
yeah,
boy
yeah.
called that.
And
Called
side note, I got some homeboys who I ain't gonna name who, they don't do picks beforehand. They like to do the games at 12 and they like to take it as it come. And I'm like, that's cool, but you don't get a chance to say what you did before. You didn't do your homework. So you don't get to come in front of the class and talk about, oh, I made an A on my test last minute. That's great. You didn't know you was gonna take the test. That's what you wanted to do. But this is about predictions and then seeing where you are at. And shout outs because we do look at a lot of other people's pick places as well. But being from Florida, I just knew something about. Once again, I looked at Tennessee and I was just like, I don't like this. You're going on the road into a hostile. The Swamp is a hostile environment. Tennessee, I felt like, I could say that they didn't even look as good because they had a lot of penalties. They had penalties like UM had in their first game. And, Florida is actually like sometimes, a lot of times, my second favorite team. And I just thought it was going to be an even matchup.
that.
So I definitely had some people that were talking about Florida money line. And I know a couple of dudes who took Florida money line. I was like, that's a good bet. I don't have enough juice to take it like that, but I feel really good that Tennessee wasn't going to cover the spread. Those two games were cool. Every other game I was going to parlay. Now, I also like Georgia Tech. But the theme of this weekend was take the damn points. After UM lost by the points, I was like, I'm taking all the points. So, and it came back to bite me because I actually like LSU. I lost with them, betting them again, Florida State. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the points. Took the points. And hey, Brian Kelly, you know what I'm saying? Your boy got up. Your
Mhm.
boy says, listen, I'm at LSU. And he had a loss last year and it didn't waver. So one thing I will say is ever since he's been at LSU gets punched in the mouth, but they don't fall. You know what I'm saying? They clean it up, and that's what's up. I feel like with Alabama and looking at the SEC right now, the SEC is wide goddamn open. So that's what's up. I definitely lost that terribly, and I would have lost. I didn't bet on the game, but I would have lost a little something. My next game that I like Georgia Tech in the points. That game I felt really good about during the duration of the game. But I'm really starting to see, and I like Lane Kiffin. I don't like betting against Lane Kiffin. I'm gonna actually start making this little segment called "It's Not Personal, It's Just Business." You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I like certain things, but it's just business. It's not personal, it's just business. So,
Mhm.
I like Lane Kiffin a lot. And Lane Kiffin is about the betters. They were at home, and I looked at the points and I didn't do my research. And I think a lot of people don't, do it. They were at home, they hadn't been covering the spread. They were not covering the spread for different periods in the game. They covered it early on because it was like 21, 24 to 3. Okay, cool, they're covering. Then they weren't covering, you know what I'm saying? Georgia Tech was able to mix it up, you know what I'm saying, and catch them
Mhm.
sleeping a couple times. Deep into the fourth quarter, Lane Kiffin still got, you know what I'm saying? They're still out there trying to, you know what I'm saying, really, really score. So the score looks like it's a blowout, but no, that score, you know what I'm saying, is really indicative of the fourth quarter. You lost your money. And, I got a lot of homeboys, they watch all the games. Sometimes I'm doing other stuff. So I take a lot of my picks and I don't always watch the games, right? And that could be blasphemy. But I go back and I look at it and I'm like, yeah, Lane Kiffin, yeah, he's either a friend or the enemy of the betters, but that was purpose, And then
Mhm.
like you, um, Prime has a way of making us get caught up with the emotions in the bet. And we weren't the only people that got popped, right? Because looking at these teams and like I seen what you did last week. Here's the thing, and we're only in week 3, and it's a reminder about college football. You know, these boys get up for certain games they're not gonna get up for. I
Mhm.
don't care what's going on. Respect the rivalry.
Yeah.
Respect the
Yeah.
rivalry. And I think I violated that law. So that's just not to me, that's everybody else. We think that Prime is bigger than a rivalry. No, you're not. Because them boys gonna be garbage. And I'm watching the game, I'm like, you know what? The spread is, that ain't gonna happen. But watch these boys don't play like this other games. Like they get blown out again. So I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. I can
same
see
thing
that.
with Florida State. I don't know why Boston College got up like this. The only thing I remember thinking is that quarterback was raw last year. That
Yeah.
quarterback been okay.
Uh,
That boy been
uh,
raw.
uh.
That boy is like, I ain't saying he's Michael Vick, but he better than he better. You remember Michael Vick, brother?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Marcus.
he was. Yeah, Marcus was raw too, and they try to sleep on him. He
Yeah.
almost like, he a little bit raw, a little than Marcus, but that dude is a sleeper pick. And I feel like if
Mhm.
he gets some things together, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't know, sophomore. No, he's definitely not a sophomore, but I don't know if he's a senior or how many years of eligibility. But yeah, they caught Florida State napping. And yeah, I just, those are the picks for the week. We always gonna come on here and we gonna keep it honest because it's not personal, it's just business. Matter of
It's
fact, I like
business.
that name of the segment. I think we should run with that. But you know, I guarantee you though, every week we're gonna get better and better. And
Mhm.
my biggest thing, if anything, is I'm gonna have my marquee picks and I'm gonna have my parlay picks. I'm gonna have to really work on the parlay picks, but I'm actually pretty happy. I put the church's money on South Carolina, and I don't want to talk about, what I'm saying, because I definitely run into South Carolina fans, but I'm not trying to live there or go there. But shout out to y'all for contributing to the fund, and shout out to Florida. Florida at home. I mean, they wrote Florida off. Not only did they, cover the spread, I feel like they not, like I said, I had a friend who did a money line play. So that's one that I saw too. So I'm gonna try to take away, what I feel like and try to give it to you way before. Cause like people I know that are giving you picks at 12 o'clock, you can't do nothing with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give it to you in advance, and we're gonna try to give you a little bit more of these sessions beforehand. So we might come out with an early pick, then we're gonna come out with a pick right
So,
before. So you
so
don't have
that's what
we
we're
have
gonna do. We're gonna put our picks out before the game day, and then we'll come back and recap, and see, how we did, how we fared, and see if we big bank Hank right now, or we
straight up,
digging in our
straight
pockets
up.
and coming up with nothing but lint.
Straight
So
up. But these boys ain't doing that. They giving you the picks. Sometimes they'll give you this. And I respect people where I look at their record. Like there was a dude, I can't remember their show, went 9-3.
mhm.
His homeboy went like 6-12 or something like that. Whatever it was, whether they were keeping stuff from, last week. But I respect that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I went like, yeah, I say I went 2 or 5. You know what I'm saying? 2 or 5.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, I would have had Kansas State on a parlay pick because I was like, you know what? I'm gonna bet with Kansas State and Kansas. They've been covering the spread. I wanted to bet. I wanted to take the points against Michigan. I don't believe that Michigan covered, and that's their second time not covering. So it's some now this weekend is there's a lot of good games coming up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But you know what? We're gonna give you some good analysis. We're gonna give you some picks, and then we're gonna be back. And remember, it's not personal. It's your business.
It's just business. It's business, baby. So we're
It's
gonna
business.
we're gonna be out, and we catch us later in the week with coming up, week 4,
Week 4
and see what we can pull a rabbit out the hat. But
and
we gonna keep it real. We're gonna keep it real from the bottom of the map to the
from the bottom of the map.
bottom of the map. We out.
We out.